All right, now I promise returning reports on a monthly basis. I know the fourth, but this is a part-time job. I can't highlight that enough. I got my real job to pay the bills, but I wanted to give the monthly kind of return report. If you'll remember last month, we went ahead and established a hedge fund, which was a really cool thing. Like you got to imagine, like young kid grew up, in a good, quaint little neighborhood and had a great family life. And the idea of now kind of like having a hedge fund, it's like pie in the sky type of stuff. Like I hope you can understand if I sound a little giddy when I'm talking about it. It's something that I never really thought I would do or be able to do. And so to be able to kind of create that along with my friends, my brothers, like people who grew up in very similar situations where we all just went out, kind of a blue collar mentality, worked our butts off, and created something for ourselves. It's pretty cool. It is the American dream, and it's been amazing to kind of experience that firsthand. So let me walk you through from an accountability standpoint where and how the TE30 did last month. So October was a stellar month across the board, really, right? Like as you look at your major indexes, NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, everyone had a really strong month. I'm going to point you over here on the left, right? So TE30 versus the world. NASDAQ was up 7.2% for the month of October, 6.9 for the S&P, and 5.8 for the Dow. So everybody turned that kind of a negative September into a positive October and really exceeded the negative and really pushed that 60-day window into a positive window. We had a very good month as well. And like a month I can't imagine that we could ever duplicate. So maybe that's another reason why I'm smiling. But we grew the TE30 in the month of October 16.92%, or a total to date for the 60 days of 20.52%. So we kicked their butts. That's the goal, right? Like otherwise I'll just grab the SPY and just allow SPY to do its thing. But we are utilizing the Joey Knish model. We have our TE30, our long-term positions. We're leveraging short-term opportunities to increase our money, and then we're pushing that money into long-term positions with our TE30. So it's been stupendous. We kicked their freaking butts in October. I feel very grateful that we can kind of start to really utilize our money to go create more money. We got our employees at work, right? Like every dollar in your pocket, it's an employee. Get them to work for you. Our dividends are up, right? Because in essence, our positions are increasing. We've taken our positions and increased them 25% on the long term. And so also our dividends are up, which is going to pay dividends over the next 12 months. So really excited by that. We did make some big changes in the TE30. It was an active month by way of pulling things out and pushing things in. From just to get everybody kind of up to speed. And if you are aligning to the TE30, I wanted to make sure that you know where and how we're investing. So we looked at Pfizer, we looked at Moderna. We rode these COVID vaccination, positions for a long period of time. There was a lot of revenue being made off of the COVID vaccinations. However, I felt like, in essence, that they had run, right? Like that any kind of upswing we were going to see by the announcement of vaccinations going to children and teenagers, I think that's already been baked into the stock. Everyone knew that was inevitably going to happen. And so we went ahead and got out of Pfizer. We got out of Moderna. I've been in Facebook only because like there's this like little voice on my shoulder who's like, man, Facebook just like prints profits. So you should be with Facebook. However, I hate Facebook. Look, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever you feel against him, this isn't a Mark Zuckerberg statement. I hate social media in general. Just not a fan of social media. And so we stepped out of Facebook. We stepped out of all three of these kind of just in time. Pfizer's continuing to do okay. I got it on my watch list. It pays a dividend. I'm not opposed to it. And they do a lot more than the COVID vaccination. Moderna is down like 25% since we've gotten out. So I feel very grateful to have dodged that. Facebook announced that it's going to establish like a parent company similar to like Alphabet with Google called Meta. I'm just glad to be out of Facebook. Uh, we did also exit out of JP Morgan Chase, a strong company, strong dividend, but I felt like we had some bigger dividend players out there, and I love the chip space right now. Anything you hear in the news is a shortage of chips. That's a supply and demand issue, right? They call it a supply chain issue, that you can't get things to where you need them to go. But if there's a shortage, it means price can potentially go up, but it also just means that all these chip makers can't keep stuff on their shelves. Everything's going to be getting sold. The orders are going to be increasing. I love the chip makers, so we added a Qualcomm in there. Love what they're doing. From a phone perspective, like if you don't have an Apple, whatever other phone you got runs on Android, I can assure you. So big Android play there. Then we backed out, Pfizer. We brought in Earn, really strong dividend there, like hugely strong, almost a 9% dividend. I love that. Love a big old fat dividend, so delicious. CRM, we're a Salesforce shop in our company. I love Salesforce. We've been with HubSpot for a long time. That stock has a lot of legs, but I think CRM really has some run ahead of it. There was a really CRM, like Salesforce got kind of beat up with some of their recent acquisitions. Some didn't really make a lot of sense to people. Others, kind of question how they would monetize it. That's really run its course. I think that downside's already now baked into the Salesforce stock. So I think it's got some legs to run here. I think it's a great product, obviously a great company. So we're going to go there. And then GitLab, we jumped in. They just went public. So we're going to ride in with that. And I love Ford. Mainly because I love the Ford F-150 Lightning. I think it's just so tight. If you haven't seen the video on it, make sure you watch the video. It's very tight. And then Alibaba, which I would never buy anything off of Alibaba. I don't get it. However, the rest of the world tends to buy a lot of Alibaba. Their marketplace tool is somewhat interesting. I think Amazon obviously does it better, but a whole different side of the world where you can really, Asia Pac, and you can benefit from that. But I love what Alibaba is doing on the technical side as well. I love their AWS competitor, their cloud space. It's growing aggressively, and Alibaba's been beaten up. I don't typically like to be in China, kind of stocks, because the Chinese government can come in and just do whatever the heck they want, and it's really hard on it. But Alibaba has been beaten up so much because of that. It's down like 50%. We're going to jump in there, and hopefully in the next week when they announce their financials, they do a good job and we get a big jump there. But I like them. Got a couple on this little waiting list that we're looking after. We pulled off Roblox. We pulled off Roku. I've got GM on the waiting list. I like GM. The big push into the EV space. Tesla showed us anything. If you can do EV right, you can make some money. And then we've got another big paying kind of a dividend, 7%. So we've got those on the waiting list, like right on the skirts. We're just kind of seeing where we kind of play in with them. But big moves in the TE30. Wanted to get everybody up to speed on that. Quick recap: we made 104 short-term trades during the month of October. It was a very busy month, but a very productive month. And then beyond that, we kicked the world's butt. I don't know if I'm going to kick the world's butt every month. I sure hope so. I think that'd be awesome, right? Kick the world's butt, just to go punch the NASDAQ or the S&P in the face and just be like, we're going to beat you. Look, I'd love to be able to do that. I've never punched anybody in the face ever in my life, just a figure of speech. But I would love to keep beating them. Obviously, I'm not going to have 16% single month growth every month. If I did, then I don't even know what I would do. Like, it won't even happen. So just forget that that's ever potentially going to happen. Enjoy your great months when you have them. Short-term sales, again, it's Joey Knish. It's look for the dips in your portfolio, your positions. When the market bets against them, you stand up for your positions. You say, these are my positions. I know you're going to do well. Make a buy, leverage that, kind of margin, if you will, or cash, whichever one you feel comfortable with. Put it at a 2% sell. I had 104 of those in October, which had a huge impact on our overall growth. So even if it wasn't as great of a month as we saw during September, you can still make some money on those Joey Knish sales. So take your little wins where you get them. A lot of little wins create a big opportunity. Latest.